Welcome back to Bet Racing Nation. Definitely getting hot in here. A bit feisty as well. But he makes a valid point. And on that Twitter note about the prize money, Dave Arthur makes the point, look, they're running for £2,000-3,000 prize money. What do you expect?
I have every sympathy with Dave Arthur's point of view in that, when you talk about the actual core problem in British racing, when you're running for 1,941 and it costs £2,500 to keep the horse for 1 month, then you have an automatic imbalance, an automatic coercion to gamble and to get up to nefarious practice to in some way mitigate the cost of running these horses.
Billy?
No, I don't quite agree. I think if you're going to set your horses up for a gamble, you're going to do it anyway, whatever the prize money is. Most owners are not expecting to make money from the betting, from the owning of the horse, the prize money. And the gambling side of it, if you're going to do it, if you double the prize money, the people that are gambling today would gamble tomorrow. They do exactly the same.
No difference. It's too hot in here, obviously.
We talked about the BHA and obviously the integrity, and one of the areas was identifying and deterring breaches of rules. Now, what annoys people, I think, and we're no doubt going to get a few tweets on this, is the non-trying aspect of it. I think it was more prevalent before than it is now, because obviously every race gets scrutinised. But do you think aspects of that go on? I mean, Harvey Smith was recently on the forum at the races and declared that he felt that was going on every day.
He actually said that there were daily bad instances of non-triers, but yet the British Horse Racing Authority is only managing to successfully prosecute less than 0.5% of the number of races in terms of non-triers.
And obviously, it's happened to a horse of his at Savile.
What he's saying is that there are daily bad events, but the British Horse Racing Authority and by extension their stewards, which argues for centralised stewarding, their stewards are basically not picking up on these regular instances of non-triers.
The problem with this is proving it. Everybody in a betting shop, non-trier, this, that and the other, and you've got to prove it. That would satisfy virtually, in the end, a court of law, because you're attacking somebody's integrity and that kind of thing. Certainly there should be centralised stewards.
But Harvey Smith could not appeal that. He felt he was no problem appealing because he would have lost it.
And I think he had a bit of a case there because the horse hadn't been jumping. If you look at that race time and again, there are worse examples. But it's very, very hard. You've got to actually prove it. And you have to think as well that the stewards are... The days of the port-swilling stewards and all that sort of thing is a bit gone. But there should be, as John Frankham said a long time ago, centralised panel.
Correct.
All the pictures go in. They've got all the camera angles. Jockeys make their appeals. He wouldn't have them even arguing their case. Phone call through and just say what you say, one side and one the other. That's how the decision was taken. And I think that will come.
Correct.
And for economic reasons, for one reason, carting all these stewards round and giving them their glasses.
And it would deal with another conception of the customers, that there is a sort of pally thing, which is almost inevitable to go on between stewards and local trainers. And whereas centralised stewards, I think British. Somebody mentioned to me, a lady that took over, who was a stipendiary steward of British Greyhounds, and she took over as their centralised stewarding system in British Greyhounds, and she did a marvellous job apparently in helping clean up that sport. Maybe that's what we need. We need a hard-nosed stipendiary stewards sitting in the British Horse Racing Authority and without being all pally with the local trainers.
Then at least you wouldn't get different verdicts. If you had the same panel doing it under the same rules, obviously not the same people every day, time and again, there wouldn't be sort of one panel gives one decision, one gives the other. Certainly the stewards now. But then it is you can appeal to the BHA, and they have turned down. Nothing's worse than the horse is disqualified and the BHA reinstated. You haven't got paid on the horse. Can I
also say that's 2 points actually. I learned to my cost earlier in the year. It was a horse called King's Grey at Worcester. The stewards didn't overturn the race. BHA did about 3-4 days later. I'm sitting on a good win. Couldn't get paid out of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I was going to ask you, in terms of stewarding, do you think now with the first past the post rule that they are more likely not to reverse the placings because of the fact before they would?
Well, I've helped to bring this in. Down the years, I've always argued there should be no disqualifications at all. First past the post, that's like in greyhound racing. First past the post, then you can not shoot the dog, but stop the dog ever racing again, and they can do that for fighting, whatever it may be. In horse racing, there are laws in this country. People say, if you had that kind of thing and no disqualifications, jockey would put another one over the rails. You can go to courts of law. If you assault somebody like that and the jockey's forced out of the saddle and injures himself or herself, whatever it is, there are laws to prevent that. I would think no disqualifications, coming right across and that kind of thing and pushing people out and using the whip. The whip, more races are lost because of the whip than one because of it. But if you had no disqualification, it shouldn't be the human element. But what they've done, the next best thing is what they're doing. They're saying is you've virtually got to prove and be certain that the other horse would have won. So you've got
you must have disqualification.
No,
sorry, John, you must have disqualification. Otherwise, you would have like a muckadram type situation where it basically gets forced over the round, and of course
you can't do that.
Essentially, you've got to have some racing in which you would disqualify the horse.
Credit to the BHA, it's near enough that you have got to be able to virtually be certain that the other one would have won.
Okay, Billy, I mean, my point really has been lost here. I'm saying that the results now, first and second, do not get reversed since the first past the post came in. Yeah. Whereas in the olden days, you would get the reverse.
That might be a fair comment. I've not got a particular view on that. I mean, the bookmakers pay out in both circumstances is absolutely right. Do. That's what they should do.
No, fairness, you're absolutely right. Because what's happening now is punters don't care.
Yeah.
In the old days, there was not rioting, but absolutely, if you were disqualified, you lost your money. Oh, absolutely, in fairness, bookmakers, because there are so infrequent disqualifications, pay on both, except, that is, for you lot. And racecourse bookmakers, you go to the course and you back a horse, it's won and is then disqualified.
I'll
you don't get paid.
I'll explain. I'll give you one word. The one word answer to that is Gibraltar. It's Gibraltar. We're not based in Gibraltar.
Long before Gibraltar.
Therefore, we're paying taxes, we're paying expenses, it's costing us £700 a day to bet, and you want us to give the same concession to somebody sitting over there lording it in Gibraltar and paying nothing.
But most of the bets are in betting shops rather than on the phone to Gibraltar. So all the punters are going. The 8,500 betting shops in this country get paid on the disqualified horse and the promoted horse, except on the racecourse. And that is disgusting. You go racing, you pay to go in, you probably take under the odds of the bookmakers anyway. Don't have machines.
We don't have machines, John. I mean,
what to say? Oh, we haven't got machines. We're not making it. We'll screw the punter.
It's all got to be paid from somewhere in any business. A supermarket, a bank, a bus, running a bus company, it's all got to be paid from somewhere. And if you can avoid taxes and levies in Gibraltar, all well and good, you're going to have a font of money available to make lots of specials and bonuses and all the rest of it. And if you're running betting shops, well, you've got four machines at £900 a week gross profit.
I'm not saying your bonuses and all that, but I remember when the Whitbread were the early 90s with Caervilla, Howe, Dead Heated with a 4-to-1 chance. So both 4-to-1, that's 6-4 each of two. So Book was having to pay out on both the 4-to-1 chances. And the race was long before Gibraltar was even thought of. So it was still there, of course, as Australians know. But that's as far as getting away with not paying levy and taxes and all that. But so this has been going on, and racecourse bookmakers, you say it's because of the fobs in Gibraltar, racecourse bookmakers are turning over. There will be a near riot one day on a racecourse where punters, betting shop, had the betting shop either got paid, you lot stand up there, screw you, you're not getting paid. That cannot be right. We're saying, come racing. We want people to come racing. They go racing, and Geoff Banks there say, I'm sorry, madam, you're not getting paid on the promoted horse or disqualified horse, whatever it is.
On that note, I'm going to go back to Tom on the Twitter to see if he's got any more tweets about this subject or any other subject.
Sam Boswell states that the prize money is why handicap punts take place. Low-grade prize money doesn't pay the bills. Essentially, I suppose what you're saying there is, the fact of picking up £2,000 for your horse that wins isn't enough, and that's why connections have to get so stuck into their horse on race day in order to pay those bills. One of these, a little tweet there about Huntball, horse Huntball, one of my personal favourites actually, and I thought this was a genuine sort of training feat, lovely progressive horse. I don't know whether your tweet's sort of a bit cynical, but he says Huntball 33-1 into 6-4 favourite on his first handicap run off a mark of 68 at Folkestone. Went on to win at Cheltenham 4 months later off 142. Again, 33-1 said out there. That was probably just wrong by the bookies in the first place, but I can see where you're coming from there. Take that over to the panel as well. And Lewis Brown, bit of a funny one. He says, one bookmaker texted me some spam to let me know there was a price boost. I asked for a 3-figure bet. I won't ask you exactly how much that was. And he said he got offered 4 pence. I'd like to know whether you took that 4 pence, Lewis Brown, but back over to the panel to see if they want to discuss that a bit further.
Provide us the evidence. Lewis Brown, if you're watching me, Give us the evidence. Show us where it's been written down, and we could take you up on that.
Absolutely.
Hunt Ball is a good example of a horse that has moved yards and for whatever reason.
It's Nicky Henderson now, isn't it?
It's now, yes,
yeah.
Indeed. But a horse that's moved yards, had a breathing operation, or simply through a difference in training regime has come to himself. And here is a horse who the trainer knows is well handicapped. And we mustn't be paranoid and assume that every horse that's backed in or runs above its handicap mark has been laid out for the race. This is a horse that's moved yards and through natural improvement has got himself ready to race, and he's been backed. And is there anything wrong in that? There's nothing wrong in that. There's no need for an investigation. There's no corruption. It's just a good example. And we mustn't be paranoid and think every horse that wins that's been backed has been somehow held
But
back.
I think the point is, if it's being backed, someone's told someone, who was then told someone else, who then told someone else.
No, absolutely. But
they would be aware of the improvement at home, though, wouldn't they?
What are they supposed to do? Phone up Geoff Banks and say, "I've got a horse at home. It's improved at home."
That's not what they say. When the stock and trade answer from the trainers is, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that it's got that somebody was backing it from 14 to 1, 14 to 1 into 2 to 1, and it's won so well." Joy.
But the information now that we get from trainers than we used to. In the old days, Captain Boyd Rochford, no hack dare even speak to the captain. Now, every big races, every trainer is quoted. Whether they're telling you the whole truth, different matter. But they're all quoted on what they're actually doing. So you've got to think the punters have never been better informed. They got the videos, they've got the form books. In the old days, you barely knew if a horse liked soft ground. You were really clever if you worked that one out. Now, punters are so well informed. Bookmakers are shortening the odds. There's no more 100 to 7. It's the 14 to 1. All these 12 to 1 comes. Fractions very hard to get, but you can still get them on the course. You certainly couldn't get them off course. So you have to think the balance of how the punters are so much better informed now than they ever were.
I'm going to have to leave you.
And also one quick question.
Could be very quick, John.
Very quick. If you double prize money, you treble prize money, would racing be straighter? It's what we're all saying.
Okay, you can't answer that. We're going to have to come back after this short break. We've got more questions for the Big Mac after this.